He's angry about mortgages. It's Angry Mortgage. He's swearing. He's cursing loud. He's old. He's opinionated. And he's been doing this so damn long. This program is about mortgages, and this is mortgage advice, but the advice may not apply to your situation. Contact licensed mortgage professionals for specific recommendations before you make decisions about mortgages. You may not agree with Ron, but if you don't, he thinks you're wrong. Oh, and did we say there is a lot of swearing?
Welcome back, Angry Mortgage. Everyone keeps complaining I am not angry enough, so I'm going to try to work up some vitriol and hatred for at some point during the podcast. I promise.
Okay, just checking.
You can't be Angry Mortgage. Everybody's telling me you can't be Angry Mortgage without more anger. So we're going to be angry. Big story of the week: fixed rates going up
Dramatically.
Well, dramatically would be like crazy, but up is up.
Yeah.
So what causes it? How much up? We did see one jump of nearly 0.5% on some rates, but I'll talk about why. I'll talk about how much. I'll talk about maybe for how long, because I was shooting my mouth off about, we're going to see fixed rates drift down through the summer. And so naturally, within a few days, I'm made to look like a horse's ass when the rates jump. We'll talk about the why of it. We'll talk about the persistency. We'll talk about what you might want to expect. And let's just say this. We can only hope for a eventual result that's positive on these rates. Sometimes when I talk about rates, people say there's two separate camps. Mm-hmm. There's people who say, Jesus, the rates need to go higher. We got to break the back of the housing market. We got to get the prices down. We got to get it so where young people can afford it. We got a housing bubble. Only high interest rates can break the back of the housing bubble.
But that's not necessarily true, because as far as housing prices go, rates are up. They're up significantly from where they are. And prices aren't what they were in the craziness of the pandemic, but we're starting to see multiple offers again. And, supply is so low. So what sense do we make of that?
Two great points. Yes, we've seen in Vancouver and in Calgary, Toronto, surrounding Toronto area, GTA, interior of British Columbia, Okanagan. We've seen prices start to go up again. That's 100% true from February. They're going up.
Yeah, we're not talking the craziness of 2020 and 2021 when, prices have come down since then. But
Absolutely.
In the last 3 months, they're going up again. And
we've seen multiple offers again.
Oh, for sure. Especially in something quality in a good area or quote unquote good area, whatever that, I guess that's personally what you think.
It is meaningful. Prices dropped for almost a year, now came back starting in February. We talked a little bit about it before, but it really needs to be thought about, because it has such a long reach. It has a big reach on rents, and it comes down to supply. We've talked about supply. We'll talk about it again, but supply is curtailed. We're watching a difficulty with supply. We have very few listings, and that is the same thing we've talked about previous episodes. If you've got a very low rate, you're worried that if you sell and buy a bigger house, that you got a 1.99 fixed rate for the next 2 years.
Yeah, you're not going to see that again.
You're not going to see it.
It's going to be up.
It's going to be up.
Double.
Almost.
Yeah.
But that's only if you break. You might think, well, no, I'll tell you what, I'll keep that more and I'll blend it. I'll do an increase in blend to buy the new house. And then you go talk to your bank about what that increase in blend is. And instead of double, it's just close to double. It's almost double.
And blending isn't the most easy process either.
Yeah, you're right. It's got to be, everything's got to work. You got to requalify again. There's lots going on. But at the end of the day, there's kind of a chill. It's a bit of a chill of saying I don't want to give up my 199 and I don't want to give it up. So the only way is just to stay here. stay put in this house. That's particularly true of the people with the variable rates that don't go up. You know, there's variable rates that don't go up when Bank of Canada raises their rate. Okay.
No, but they've hit their cap and amortization is just extended, right?
Amortization is going out forever. We saw the 92-month amortization, 92-year amortization.
That's a long one.
Okay, it's too long. Yeah. No. So those people think the same thing. I can't move because my payment's going to go up 50%. So I got to stay put. All right. Those people are dead right. Nobody with a variable rate mortgage where the payments have not gone up, just the interest has gone up. In some cases, those people's mortgages are actually growing, but they say, no, I'm not going to move. So I don't want to pay that huge payment difference. So
but there's always people that have to move.
Yeah, there's always people who have
unavoidable
to move.
Situations.
Absolutely true, but they make up the minority of the cases. In a healthy market, people are looking to move up. People are looking to say, you know, I want to sell my house. I want to move to a different area. I got a new school district I want to get to, all those different things.
Well, common trend that we're seeing is that during the pandemic, everyone thought, okay, I work from home now. This is permanent. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not permanent. Now you have to go back into the office. Now your commute's 2.5 hours one way because you took advantage of a low rate, moved to the middle of nowhere, and it's just not conducive to your lifestyle because you're spending all the time in the car.
But at the end of the day, this horrible rate predicament may keep you stuck in the house.
Sure.
To try to find a way around it. But the normal move-up buyer, like the person who just says, I want to change school districts, so I want to buy a little bit more expensive house in a different postal code. Well, they say, no, I'm not going to do that because I can't give up this rate. I can wait it out. I got to wait it out.
Yeah.
So we have a natural curtailment of volume.
Yeah.
So but people still want to buy.
Well, some people still want to sell.
I would tell you what I think influenced it is what influenced these prices going up now, what influenced, and we mentioned that the fact there's a slow inventory, we explained it, but I think what also happened is for the people on the buy side, people who want to buy houses, the rate wasn't 6% anymore. Yeah. It had come down to like 4.89, 4.79. I guess it's technically come down. So there was a lot of interest, but there wasn't much interest from the people who had a 1.99 rate to sell. So we got things bubbling up again. We got prices moving up they'd come down, but they were already really, really high.
Well, and it'll be interesting to see like how many weeks are we from the next Bank of Canada meeting.
Well, it's July. It's June the 7th. It's June the 7th. So let me talk about why fixed rates went up, because that's exactly where your question leads. Well, no, because all of a sudden that 4.79 rate, that 4.65 rate for a 3-year, it's gone. Mm-hmm. Next week it's all back up low fives again. 4.99 best maybe on a huge mortgage that closes really fast. A lot of rates up, like high ratio rates up. We had this spectacular best rate in Canada on 5-year fixed for high ratio. That's the CMHC mortgage. 4.19. Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. No, not unbelievable compared to 2 years ago, but pretty unbelievable compared to the last 12 months.
Times,
yeah. That'll be gone. So rates are up. That might curtail the market, but let me explain why rates are up. So early this week, again, made me look like more or less of a horse's ass saying inflation was beaten in the last episode. I got a feeling that's going to happen quite a few times for the next.
Where you'll look like a horse's ass.
When I look like a horse's ass. Okay, I'll say something on a Friday, and then the next Friday I'll have to say, "Oh God, I was so fucking wrong." Okay, I was just totally wrong. Okay,
were you wrong though?
I was wrong because I kept talking about that we should have seen the inflation's going to keep trending down. All of a sudden, earlier in the week, CPI announcement, inflation's up a tiny, tiny bit, just the thinnest amount.
But people are still talking recession. Like where are unemployment numbers? They're low, but are they that low? People are still talking about going into a recession. So how does that all play in?
That's a great question. It does apply here because it has an effect. The expectation of a recession absolutely has an effect on where all market rates go, where all kinds of interest rates go. But the Great Recession question is answered like this. Employment's still strong. Right now, today, employment's still strong.
Yeah.
that's very much a lagging indicator. Lagging indicator means that, okay, it's the last. It's the, it doesn't speak to trend. Employment job numbers don't speak to trend. So here's what you look at, what a lot of people look at when they speak to trend. They say, is the consumer spending less? Okay. Is the consumer spending, what's the best measurement of that? So the best measurement of that is, are people buying more shampoo? I know that sounds stupid. Are people buying more consumer goods? Are people buying more?
Well, they are buying more compared to 2020 when we didn't leave our houses. Like,
yes,
I know I didn't wash my hair a lot.
There was a certain number of people who stank when there was full lockdown. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Wash the body, didn't do the hair. And what do we call that, Rowan?
No, well, I'll tell you what. You say it, not me. I want you to tell the folks what you call that.
We call that the hooker shower.
The hooker shower, where it's just
pits, bits, and tits.
Pits, bits, and tits. Yes, of course. That's exactly what it is.
I taught Ron about this about 6 years ago in Vegas.
This is it. And I gotta say, I'd been around and I'd heard of the hooker shower, but I never heard there was a whole litany of technicalities attached to it. So now that we know, but yes, that was going on. God knows in the full lockdown where none of us left our houses, that was happening. But here's what it is. One of the big things that people look at is things like, our cell phones selling, like how's Apple phones doing? Like, okay, those orders are down. Like in Foxconn, who makes the Apple phones, their business is down. They're doing less business. There's all kinds of different consumer items that are not selling as well. There's stores, big huge chains like Walmart, Costco, smaller chains that talk about the fact they have inventory piling up in their warehouses, which means, don't get me wrong, they try to run just-in-time inventory standards, but still, if store sales slow down, then they're going to have a little bit of inventory stack up. So these are the signs. These are the signs if the consumer slows their spending. Now, you might say, well, Jesus, Ron, I know you're Ron Mortgage Guy, but now you're starting to sound like Ron Dumbass Guy. Like if there's terrible inflation, then people are going to have to spend less because everything costs more. They got to spend more to eat. There's less money for iPhone. Okay. But it hadn't actually become as obvious until the last couple of months that this was going on. So you want a sign of a recession? There's your sign. Slow down in wholesale ordering. Slow down in the company's success. Even companies that do services or even things like movie theaters are, obviously every movie comes out, there's a different level of interest, okay? Can you believe this Mario Brothers thing? I mean, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, you got it.
I'm excited for the Fast 10. I don't care. They can go to space again.
You just want to see Jason Momoa.
Sure do.
You just want to see Jason Momoa. Jesus
going to
Christ.
Space in a DeLorean like they did in Fast 9.
That was wild. That's a jump the shark moment for sure.
I will watch Jason Momoa. I don't get the drive-in with my car on fire. It's fine.
You'll watch Jason Momoa read the phone book.
Sure.
I mean, you don't care. Not? Just watch him. Just look at him, okay?
Yeah. Drink Caras.
I get it. But in to a certain extent, they eat less when they go to the movie. Like they track all this stuff. The big theater chains track all this stuff. So there's so many subtle signs that the consumer is consuming less. And that's the biggest thing in North America. The consumer is the biggest thing. We're trying to repatriate manufacturing, but it's only just starting. And every kind of factory uses less people now. So
and this all circles back to, is sort of rate affected immediately, or all the things that's this is where is it in the trend?
Yeah, this is just to finish off your recession question.
Okay.
So it's only when this consumer sort of collapse becomes really evident that the job losses really start to pile on.
Yeah.
Okay. So we may be waiting to the end of the summer. We may be waiting for the fall to actually have it become obvious that there's a consumer-based recession, that people have to contraction in the economy, and that eventually people will have to be laid off because that's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. So we wait for the recession. We wonder, but that element of the recession is part of the whole rate scenario. Mm-hmm. Let me break down why fixed rates went up. So fixed rates went up because inflation went up just this tiny amount. Mm-hmm. But it was a bit unexpected. It came off of, and there's a really interesting point about mortgages that have to do with it, but it came off, again, the endless increase in the cost of food, which we've talked about every time. Yeah. The endless increase in the cost of food, and energy is up, ticked up. Now, I don't know how this works. I don't know if the increases in the carbon tax on gas are coming into this equation yet. Okay. I believe in climate change. I am, and I know this is going to disappoint some of the people in the audience who think, oh no, this climate change is a lie. But
those are also the flat Earth people, though.
Some of them are. Some of them just feel it's exaggerated. But I'm a believer in climate change. I just put it out there. I believe it for a million different reasons. I believe it. But here's the thing: you can address climate change in different ways. The United States introduced a massive program, billions and billions and maybe $1 trillion predicted spending on managing climate change that had all to do with infrastructure greener, more encouragement for EVs. Let's make sure that we subsidize green industries. Now, what's interesting about that is it's about subsidies combined with employment, combined with repatriating manufacturing in a green way, but that isn't about tax. There's no tax in that U.S. program. They don't, there's some states that have brought in carbon tax, like California has brought in carbon tax, cap and trade. You run a cap and trade program. But the federal government in the United States is not proposing a carbon tax at all, whereas we do. So is that carbon tax starting to push up energy prices as it increases? Is it pushing up energy prices, and that's causing some inflation? Big thing about inflation that has really been pointed out this report, is that mortgage rates increases are causing some inflation. Because here's how it works. Every day, somebody gets a renewal letter. Yeah. Every day, hundreds, maybe 1,000 people get a renewal letter in Canada. A renewal letter from their bank that says, here, your 5 years are up. Here's the new rates we're proposing, and here's your new payments. Mm-hmm. And all of those are up. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't matter what the hell you had, or, it's up from where it was. Okay. There's nothing that's down. Maybe some of the variable people who are coming up would say, well, this is about the same as the crazy high rate I had. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's gone crazy. It was great a year and a half ago, and now it's terrible, but it's about the same. And all the fixed rates are up. So every day, hundreds or thousands of people get a letter that tells them their payments are up. Mm-hmm. And this means that that's inflation. Like, you are spending more for shelter. The next horrible, horrible thing is, when landlords get those letters, mm-hmm. they got to find a way to increase the rent. Definitely. Now, some places are rent controlled. There's some definitely rules in different provinces.
There's ways to get people out. If a landlord wants their house back, they will. It'll take them a few months, but they can get it back.
You've seen it.
100%.
You've seen it. You're a realtor.
Oh, we're moving in.
Mom's moving in.
Mom's moving in. My daughter needs a house. We're doing renovations.
Major renos. It's renoviction. Yeah. That's what's going on. Okay. So what's it all about? It's because a landlord got a mortgage payment increase that he needs to make up for sure, through tenant rent. And even if they didn't, they know that everybody else did, even if they have very few of these. But even if they had a free and clear house that was tenanted, mm-hmm. They're going to say, whoa, everybody else is raising the rent like crazy.
Why can't I?
Why can't I?
Shouldn't I? Yeah.
Let's go. Okay. So,
yeah, and it's not right by any means. I'm not condoning it, but it happens every day.
Happens every day. It's just
there's nothing you can do to avoid
it. It's a function of a country where in too many regions, particularly some of the most populous regions, we have batshit crazy house prices.
Yes.
And that just filters through to everybody, tenants included. So that's another major impact on inflation rates because on CPI, because if rents are going up drastically, then, hey, how about Calgary caught the Vancouver and Toronto disease? House prices are blazing up in Calgary. And this is a crazy stat I read from a friend of ours, a friend of the show, Steve Saratsky, runs Looney Hour, has wonderful real estate reports. Okay. And he said he published something last week. He posted something where he suggested that some parts of Calgary have experienced a 40% increase in 12 months on rents. 40%.
Recently.
Yeah, up to this month, they've gone up in 12 months, rolling 12 months, unbelievable numbers, wow. Okay? That's the virus that Calgary's caught because Calgary's house prices were always, and still are, substantially lower than Toronto and Vancouver. But once property investors from Vancouver and Toronto realized this, they said, hey, prices in Vancouver and Toronto don't make any sense for renting. So
we have to go somewhere else, like the Locust.
Yeah, they're like rental investor locusts. Yeah.
Swarm of one area. All the natural resources are gone now, and we move on to the next.
We've eaten every tenant. Yeah, exactly. And now we got to go to Calgary because the prices of the houses are lower. So that's the kind of virus that Calgary caught, but it's a reflection of higher rents throughout Canada. Another guy posted very recently that the rents in Halifax have gone nuts. Like they've gone through the roof for a relatively small city. And there's another great article today came out from Mark Murphy about how he can watch in September how rents just ramp up as foreign students have to find accommodation in universities across Canada. Okay.
Definitely.
So this is a big impact when rents are a very direct measure of CPI, of inflation. And when rents are just burning, then inflation goes up. So we experienced in other areas, some things fell, but in other areas, this key energy and food, and now particularly mortgage payments and rents going way up.
That's all the driving forces.
The driving force of this little jump we experienced in inflation. So let me tell you what I call the stupidest loop. This is the stupidest loop. So the Bank of Canada raises its rate, which causes all types of mortgage rates to go up, whether it's fixed or variable. And then those increased payments cause an increase in inflation, which causes the Bank of Canada to say, well, damn it, inflation not beaten yet. We got to raise the rates again. Wait a minute. Holy shit, that's a disaster. Okay, like the fact you're raising the rates causes mortgages and mortgage payments, rents to go up. And now the fact that they're up means you got to raise the rates some more. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a shitty outcome. All right, so that was what happened last week. This sort of, it's a small increase, but people were shocked. They thought it would keep going down. The Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem held a presser and talked about it, but also suggested that he thinks it's an anomaly. He thinks it's not a new trend going back up again. He's monitoring it closely. That's sort of bankers speak for, I don't really want to raise rates. I don't really want to raise my rate on June 7th. Like I'd really rather not, but if I'm forced to, I will.
Yeah.
But here's why fixed rates went up. And this is the really important thing people have to understand. Whether fixed rates go up or down is absolutely a function of the belief in the bond market, because like we've talked before, bond yields control mortgage rates combined with a level of profitability, administrative costs, and credit swaps. But at their heart, bond yields are the big indicator in mortgage rates.
Yeah.
And the way bonds are priced and where the yields are derived from essentially comes from this thought about where prime rate's going. And even if the bond market's a little spooked, there was no chance at all that prime was going to go up. And now there's a chance it's going to go up, so we're worried. But also, probably more importantly, what happens is that they know the cuts aren't coming for a while. You know, there was a time when people believed there'd be cuts in Canada's Bank of Canada rate this summer. Like, there was a school of thought in February that, cuts are around the corner, okay? No, fuck no, that's not happening. So if you believe the cuts are being pushed out, that Bank of Canada cuts are being pushed out into 2024, or at the maybe Christmas this year, if there's a big recession. But if you think they're getting pushed out, that means fixed rates have to go up, because if you look at those rates, they are bets on when prime will cut, when rates will go down. So if you think rates will go down in the summer, all of a sudden 3-year fixed rate goes down to 4.59. I mean, really low, great deal, okay? Yeah. And then you realize inflation did not keep falling at the CPI print, and you think, "Ooh, shit! I gotta go. It's not going to happen this summer. It might take a whole hell of a lot longer. We got to get these yields," and that's what happens. It's very simple.
Yeah,
it's about the projection of when cuts will happen, and as the chance of cuts keeps getting pushed farther and farther and farther, the fixed rates stay high or go higher. So that's what we went through just this week. So people got a next question. If rates are all going to be in the 5s again, no 4s or hardly any 4s, or really hard to get a 4, so a rate that starts with a 4, mortgage rate starts with a 4, will the prices stop going up in the GTA and in Vancouver and in Calgary? Will it stop? We're going to sit back and watch. We don't know. But there's a couple guys who are pretty good callers of this thing, pretty good analysts who actually called it. They said, okay, this change in rates is going to cause the prices to stop going up. Not necessarily saying they're going to drop again, but this could be the top. Just putting it out there. No predictions. Prediction is a crap business. That's it. I don't mind trying to figure out what happened this week, but even predicting what's going to happen in the summer proved to be shitty on me. Like I missed it. Okay. Mortgage rate's going to keep trending down. No, they took a big jump just to prove the fat guy wrong. Okay. So that was the kind of crappy outcome with rates for consumers. And again, I get back to my original point that some people say, no, we need higher rates to crush house prices. And others people say, wait a minute, I've got a mortgage. I don't want to pay more. I mean, it's two solitudes. Yeah. It's people who want to get into the housing market, want to see prices fall.
And then other people that want to watch it burn.
People, because they're in the building. They don't want to watch the building burn down. Okay. That's for goddamn sure. So that was the big story this week. Okay. And a question did come out. We needed an answer. Needs to pop something out of the answer bag. A couple of questions came through on Twitter and through our own customers this week because of this change in rates. They asked, like, how long can I get a rate hold for? Like, what's the can I get a rate hold? The answer is yes, you can get a rate hold.
It's not going to be good. You can have one.
You're going to have one. Now, there's going to be times in this pod where I actually talk about things that are not necessarily in my interest as a mortgage broker, but just out of the requirement to tell the truth. The place to go for the best possible rate hold on the lowest possible rate is probably to your bank. There's just some things mortgage brokers are great at, and they're great at what I refer to as live purchases. So you got a purchase agreement, come to us. We will scour the market. We will find the lowest possible rate. We will act quickly. We will be efficient. We will get you your approval at the lowest possible rate we can get if you have a purchase agreement in your hand.
Well, the thing, like when I was working on pre-approvals, you explain to the person, this process is just to make sure you qualify.
Yeah.
You have a job, you have your employment, we've reviewed some of your supporting documentation, you'll qualify for this mortgage. Now you can sort of look and offer easier on a place. Once you have that active agreement of purchase and sale in hand, then we can go after like the cheap rates.
The very lowest rate.
The very lowest
rate. The goal, again, I don't speak for Butler Mortgage, but if I was to say what the goal of most of the people working at Butler Mortgages is to get you the very best rates possible for your situation. That's the whole operating philosophy.
Correct.
So the idea here is that how long, if I could get a pre-approval, how long could I get it for? The answer is typically 90 to 120 days, depends on the company, depends on the lender. But again, you may be better off to go to a bank, particularly on new construction. Let's talk about that just really briefly, okay? You're going to a site to buy a brand new home that's being built. So you're sort of buying off of plans, signing a contract for when it's finished. There is often going to be a bank associated with that new construction site.
Pre-approved lender.
Pre-approved lender who works with the builder and can offer you a rate hold out for like a year and a half.
Which is what you need on new build.
Which 90
days doesn't mean anything.
90 days on new build.
Takes them 90 days to install a toilet seat.
Useless. No point in there's no point in talking to a mortgage broker about a pre-approval on new construction. Can we give you a letter that says you would be approved? Yes. Sure. Can we get you a rate hold for a year and a half? No. Okay. But working in these sales offices on site, on the developer's site, is a bank, whoever it is, could be RBC, could be BMO, could be whoever. There's going to be a bank there who says, we will give you an 18 month rate, sometimes 24 months. Okay. But an 18-month guarantee of your rate. You're approved. Here's your certificate, and here's the rate we got on hold.
Now, as far as your 18-month approval, so you've qualified, you obviously given them some documentation.
They know, they understand. Sometimes depends on the bank.
Do we do this again?
Good question. So it depends on the bank. Historically, RBC, if you run with they may be changing this because I think they got impacted a little bit in some rules that the regulator OSFI is thinking about might change this ability, but they were actually fully underwriting the file, saying, "Give me your employment information, give me your job letter, give me your pay stub, give it all to me. Boom, you are approved at this rate, and just let us know when it's closing, and maybe we'll have to check down payment, but you're done. There's no more underwriting. You're finished." Okay.
Because even employment verification, when they make that call, 2 weeks before closing?
No,
so-and-so doesn't work here anymore.
Under this RBC product, and again, I'm not sure it's available, nobody's calling nobody 2 weeks before closing. Like, you could have lost your job, become a meth addict, and just be hanging around the house. As long as you got your down payment, you could close, okay? That's the way the product worked.
Wow,
okay? Now,
that is risky.
Well, is it? Here's the funny part. Based on RBC's delinquency experience, not risky. Like those mortgages worked out perfectly. So, but if you're a regulator, you've got to sort of scratch your head and ask some questions whether that's a good idea.
Correct.
It's a good idea that we pre-approve somebody, give people full underwriting approval, tell us we're never going to check your employment again, and then 18 months from now, anything could have happened. I don't know whether that makes sense or not, but so if you need it, but if for a regular pre-approval for a resale home, can be had. Bank might be a better place to go, but when you get that live purchase agreement in your hands, you got to shop again. You got to shop again. You got to make sure that you're getting the lowest possible rate, particularly in these times of very high rates.
Yeah, okay? For sure. It's important. A few basis points does a lot.
And sometimes it's not a few, right? Like
it's significant.
We were looking at some people who were like, last month, we looked at people, there was 40 basis point difference. Like, it's real. It's absolutely real. Okay, so this brings us to our favorite part of the program. What the actual fuck is going on here?
WTAF.
That's it. And this week, I am thinking a lot about something that bugs me endlessly, and I think it bugs a lot of people.
Okay.
Why the fuck does it take any government project? I don't care whether it's the city, I don't care whether it's the province, I don't care whether it's the feds. Why does it, when they have to make something or build something or fix something, that it basically takes for fucking ever to do?
Because they're paid hourly?
I don't know what. No, seriously, I mean, I think in Toronto, for instance, and I got some feedback from people in British Columbia on this. I think Alberta's a little better, to be honest with you.
No.
I don't know much about what's going on in Quebec. I can't really tell you, but here's what we know in particularly in the GTA. Like, they've been trying to build something called a crosstown LRT for about 10 years now. Okay, that's a light rail transit program.
If not longer.
If not longer. And they've now reached the point where they've got to say, we don't know when the fuck it's ever going to get finished. And you know what? We're really wondering a little bit whether it'll ever be finished. Okay. How could that be?
Why does this make you angry, Ron?
I'll tell you what, because it's fucking nuts. Okay. We got the contractor is trying to sue the city now, stating the city has created too much difficulty for them to finish. They're nowhere close to finished. The businesses on the route have been abused. The people who live along the route have been abused by endless, unfinished, never-ending construction horse shit. Okay? How about this one? They closed a big section. People who are not in Toronto, like Queen Street's a major street. Mm-hmm. If you're in Toronto proper, like right downtown, Queen Street is big.
Yeah.
They closed blocks of it for the next 4.5 years. Now, they're saying 4.5 years, could be 40 fucking years. I don't know. But hey, it's closed. And by the way, they knew they were closing it for years. I'm looking at pictures now of little paper signs up on poles that say bus stop, like, and no scheduling on it, nothing. And people are waiting, wondering, is it going to come? Is it not going to come? Like, I mean, they've known this closure, this major closure of one of the busiest streets in Toronto is coming for years, friggin' years, okay? Not prepared at all, bunch of little paper fucking signs up on poles. We think this is the bus stop, not sure, okay? Yeah. The people are milling around the day that they closed and saying, where do we go now? Everybody says, I don't know. Where do you think we should go? Where do you think we should go? Like, sweet Christ. I mean, you can't do worse work than this. You just can't. Like, you can't build anything right. So, again, stick with GTA. We've been thinking about something to do with something called Ontario Place. There's a place. There's a sort of a little spit of land that's down by the CNE.
A casino there?
No, there's no casino. They talked about building a casino there because it's hardly used and it's run down and it's fallen apart. Talked about a casino. Everybody said, no, there can't be a casino. There might be more traffic. There might be unsavory characters, so no casino. So that was about 4 years ago. They got rid of that. Now they're talking about, well, let's... Then they just announced they were going to build a huge spa. Some German company was going to come in and build this massive thermal spa, and they're going to do this wonderful stuff. And Ontario Place, that was like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now everybody's saying, yeah, maybe we'll change that idea again. Like, I mean, we might even have signed a contract. Let's put the Science Center, the Ontario Science Center down this place. Holy crap. Like, not only can they not finish anything they start, not only they can't fucking organize anything, not only can they just do silly shit like closing down blocks and blocks of important parts of the city for multiple years, they can't even decide to start shit. Like, it takes years just to, let's try this casino. No, not casino. Okay, forget about it for a few years. Wait a second. This is a big, huge, vital piece of real estate that something should be good should happen on it for the citizens of Toronto, the citizens of Ontario, and we'll try that. Okay, we're going to build the spa. But wait, no. 2 years later, probably no spa. Are you breaking a contract? Not sure. Let's see what happens. What the actual fuck? Like it's nuts. It's goddamn nuts. Like, study after study. Like, you know, sometimes I'll I'll put out a post about why something's taking forever. Mm-hmm. A piece of construction is taking forever, whether it's putting in a bridge over a river, and that's taking eternity. That's in your neighborhood too. You got a little exposure to it. Mm-hmm. Putting a bridge over a river, taking years and years. God, we watch a video of a bridge being put up in Holland, in the Netherlands, and there's
done in like 48 hours.
They're
or
done
something
over the
crazy?
weekend, for God's sakes. I mean, it's not as big a bridge, but
all the work is done at nighttime when everyone else is sleeping, so it doesn't affect traffic.
And they're swarming it like bees. There's like 100, 200 people like running all over the place. Like when they built the hospital in China, there's like a jillion people running around like bees.
Yeah.
And just building, work equipment, massive equipment, timing. Just get after it. This local bridge around where we live, sweet Jesus, it's just forever. Sons of bitches. And the workers might be the greatest workers in the world, but it moves at a goddamn snail's pace.
They can only work as hard as direction allows. And
when I post about this, when I post about how I think they built the entire 401 all the way out to Oshawa, all the way out to Mississauga, a huge project, biggest highway in Canada, busiest highway in Canada, one of the busiest highways in North America. Mm-hmm. I think they built the whole goddamn thing from start to finish in about 7 years. It would take 700 fucking years to build the 401 again. Just widening the lanes takes years, takes 4 or 5 years, okay? How is this? Why the fuck does this happen? When I talk about this crazy stuff on Twitter or any kind of social media post, I always get a few reactions from the people who are actually involved in the building of it. People who say, no, now they're all anonymous. It's like Toadmaster Slim is who's, posting the reply, okay? Or Barf Meter 101 is posting the reply. Like, I don't know whether he really is an engineer or project manager or he or she, but they always, Ron, you just don't understand it. If only you understood it. If only you understand how careful we have to be. If only you understand how engineering really works. If only you understood that the safety factors we have to employ. And if you really understood the project management issues, if you understood the government to project management issues and how inspections have to happen, how changes have to be written up, how changes have to be approved, if you already understood the whole process, you would understand that we're working as fast as we can. Fuck yourself, okay? Like, I don't care. You might be an engineer. You might be a project manager. I don't fucking care. There's got to be a reason that things take forever, okay? I don't care whether it's because the government has too much red tape, which I assume they do. Yeah. I assume they have clumsy, dumb, bureaucratic bullshit.
But that's what they're trying to get around. Isn't that one of the mandates that especially Ford said? He's trying to cut back all the red tape that people have to go through to, with the multi-residential units we discussed last week and stuff like that. They're trying to claw that back so it's not as difficult. Is that a fact?
I'm sure we've heard that from Ford Nation. I'm sure we've heard that. Mm-hmm. Nothing's fucking changed yet. Like, nothing's changed, okay? Yeah. Like, it's the same bullshit. The same incredible lengths of time, the same mess, the same unmanageable delays, the same foolishness. Like, we've got to give our heads a shake in Canada. We used to be one of the most productive, efficient, effective countries in the world. When the Second World War hit, we went from a sort of a little piss-ass Navy, piss-ass merchant marine, piss-ass shipbuilder, to the third biggest Navy on earth in 4 years, okay? We could do shit. Now, I know what everybody's saying. Blah, blah, blah. Old boomer says it's bullshit. Like, it's just you old man talk. Well, I am fucking old, okay? I'm 66 almost. But what I'm saying to you is this has gotten way worse. Like, you can't not say that it's gotten way worse. You can't not suggest that it isn't taking a ridiculously long time to accomplish anything that government has to build. Don't get me wrong. Government's super good at some stuff. Mm-hmm. Pandemic hits. We need to give everybody $2,000 a month. Boom. Everybody's getting $2,000 a month. Just like that. It's magic. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's magic. Everybody who applied for CERB got CERB. There is one thing that government does brilliantly. Spend money, okay? Money gets spent. You say, oh, if it's something easy, so we just shovel money into people's bank accounts? Done. We'll do that, okay? But, oh, build a bridge. No, that's 20 years, okay? we just start planning now, okay? Yeah. And, again, people say, oh, you're exaggerating. It's not that bad. You're a person who drives around. Am I exaggerating about how long everything to do with government construction takes?
Well, even like we're discussing one area of the QEW, that's been as long as I've known you.
And it ain't finished yet.
No, it's not even near finished.
It's in no danger of finishing. Like, it's not even close to finished, okay? And yet, if we think back to years gone by, I mean, when I was a kid, okay, perfect example. They're just putting in some curbs on a street where I live. There's a gas station. We go to a lot. You get our gas, and they started putting in just curbs. Like, they tore out the old curbs.
So not even a sidewalk, a curb.
Just a curb.
Okay.
Nothing more than a curb.
Okay.
They started that 1.5 years ago. Perfect. Just curbs at an intersection. Might be finished next week. Cone City for a year and a half.
Nightmare, yeah.
But why? Why does it take so long just to finish the curbs? It makes no goddamn... Oh, you can't possibly do the curb in the winter. Then start at a different time. It's just curbs, for Christ's sakes, okay? Like, start in the spring, finish by the fall. Don't tell me this winter shit. That's fucking nuts, okay? Like, that's what's wrong here today. That you drive around, you go places, you do things, and you say, there's cones everywhere. Everything takes forever. Nothing ever gets finished on time. Nothing isn't ever double budget. And some things they're threatening to never finish ever. Like, I don't know when this is ever going to get finished, okay? It's got to change. That's got to be, hey, Doug Ford, whoever new mayor of 1,000 candidates is in Toronto. Okay, like, seriously,
That's a whole other thing.
They got so many candidates, unbelievable, okay? Which is a weird thing about democracy, that you're going to elect somebody with 20% of the vote. That's really sort of fucked up. But whoever it is, people, politicians, city managers, we've got to change our ways. We can't go from projects budgeted for 7 years that turn into 15 years that aren't finished for 20 years. We can't keep doing this because we're importing. Last year, we imported 1 million people.
It's supposed to be more than that this year.
Might be. I don't know the final numbers, but we got to change. We got to change now.
And finish the road so we can get the houses built.
All that. All that. So
please.
That's anger. I'm angry at government for not being able to finish everything anytime, or double time, or triple the money. It's got to stop. I'll vote for anybody who says, you know what? That's all I'm going to do. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to find a way to finish shit and finish it fast and do things efficiently. Just find that person. Okay. Thanks, folks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.
If you like the pod, well, don't just sit there. Go to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the other ones and like the pod. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep being angry at mortgages and swearing about mortgages. Angry Mortgage could use your support.